Hi, this is the Forest Daughter Creel, and it's been a while since I shared a journal with you. And it's almost sunny enough that I think I'll be able to give you a pretty good idea of what the actual colors are. This journal is called Midwinter Fairytale, The Wolf. And the images that got these set of kits going were by TheEphemeralFox. It's called Midwinter Fairytale, and you'll see a lot of these papers in here. I kept the cover intentionally simple, but let me go ahead and start by giving you the dimensions. It's a fairly standard book, so you're going to have just under 6 inches here, just about 9 inches for the length, the height, and 2 3/4 inch for the spine. This baby has 5 signatures. Signatures are sets of bound pages and a floating spine, which means the pages are stitched to fabric and the fabric is glued on the sides into the book, so the actual spine is free floating. The tie on these is a deep green sash that is about 2 yards long and completely hand stitched. So you have the option of wrapping it twice around this way, or once the length and once the width to hold everything securely in if you start tucking goodies in. You can see why this one is called the wolf, and it is such a beautiful image that it didn't need doctoring. It didn't need lots of googads and bits of other paper glued to it or anything complicated. It's gorgeous just like it is. The fabric on this is kind of a flannel. It's really soft, and it's got these deep rich greens and little red oranges that pick up the colors from the images in the book. I have intentionally left it simple so that it feels good. And the top of this topper has been polyurethane so that the sash that ties it closed will not rub off the image. So you've got 2 layers of polyurethane on this. It's cardboard that has been wrapped in a pretty edging paper with a background backing paper, a pocket, and then another image that has room for you to put your name, the date you started the journal, possibly why you've started the journal. If you're journaling with somebody else, co-journaling, you each get a journal and go out for coffee and write together, you can put their name here as well. And then this comes out of your way when you're writing. Again, the TheEphemeralFox Midwinter Fairytale is what got this started, but I didn't want to limit it to just one season. So there are really neat papers in here that are summer dreamy and also spring blossoms on trees. If you're wondering what that slurping sound is, that's the pit bull who just came in from her walk drinking water. If you followed me before, you'll know that I love my journals to look like they have been wrapped in burlap and leather and tucked in a forest hollow tree for years, and you've stumbled across them. To that end, I use really heavy paper for most of the pages. They're hand tea-dyed. I do that. And then the edges are all hand torn, so they'll stack differently and give you some rumply, ruffledy edges. I also want my journals to be written in. They're not meant to be just tabletop look-at books. They're supposed to be scribbled in, sketched in, torn, written, stuffed full, and much loved. So I have included lots of pockets and additional writing paper so that you can add more bits and pieces. Throughout this journal, I have added some quotes that I've written just to get you started. This one says, "The word from the wood's edge is a lone wolf has been seen again. They say he has golden eyes and a crown of holly." So you can kind of tumble your way into fairy tales. On the really beautiful pages of tea dyeing patterns, I have left them blank. Go ahead and write over them with a dark pen. It will be beautiful. On other pages, I've added little decorative strips of paper or mini collages. This particular tea-dyed page had herbal tea added to it when it was wet. So there's some pink and purple dots. And this shows some wicking when paper is raised up over the surface of the tea-dyed water. It can wick the tea into the pages in really neat patterns. Cards to write on, extra writing scraps that you can turn into your own collages. And then I'm just going to flip through fairly quickly here to give you an idea of what's in this book. A little bit of fussy cutting. The center folds have been tied with DMC floss in complementary colors, and the tags are just heavy pieces of paper that have been glued on. They're kind of clacky, kind of neat. Pockets, feel free to flip the tags any way you like. And I was hoping that you would find some tags and write code words or keywords or hopeful words on them and hang them where you can see them or where they can dance in a breeze. Everything doesn't have to remain in the journal. Here's some space where you can write a little bit of private journaling. Some velvety ribbons. I love these images. Aren't they just divine? Just writing space, more paper tucked and folded. Envelopes have extra writing paper in them. One of them has a token and a little bit of the fairy tale spelled out for you. Lots of folds, additional paper, a centerfold that's a hidden pool, a magical pool. Here we have a bookmark. Please feel free to use it outside of the journal with a tag of playful ribbons and different textures and thicknesses. We've got a little bit of bell here on a ball clip. More beautiful tea-dyed paper. Some of the best tea-dyed paper is 100% cotton rag, like this one. It's from professional paper used for resumes, if you can find it. Sometimes you can find it at thrift stores. Takes the dye really well. This, what is tea dye? Did I hear you ask? Tea dye is Louisiana tea bags. Boiling water, a pinch of baking soda, brewed long and dark, papers piled in while it's hot, soaked through, spread out on a surface like a vinyl tablecloth to dry, and while they're still damp, sprinkle more tea on them. That's it. There's no secret. Takes a lot of time, isn't complicated. These summer foresty images manage to have similar colors to the TheEphemeralFox's Midwinter Fairytales, so they're summer dreaming, and that means you can use this journal any time of the year. These summery dreamy papers are called Forest Stroll by PrintscapeJourneys, and all of the artists that I use, the digital artist I use, will always be included in a letter tucked in this as well. I want people who have done the design work to get full credit, and if you love some of the designs, you can make additional journals or journal pages to tuck in the pockets. So just copy paper that have been printed with images. There's 2 of them in this centerfold pocket. Slightly different springtime images to keep the journal useful in all seasons. And this is the Mad Queen striding through the snowy fields. On this side, there's a vintage sheet of stationery and an envelope clipped in so that you can write a friend. Here we have ceramic beads with Toho glass beads on a bamboo strand. Nice and sturdy. Again, heavy paper. More cards. Another lighter piece of crinkly paper. Some of us like the texture. More writing surfaces. This is just pages that have been tea-dyed, and I've left the tear strips for interest. The center image came with a page outline, so I hand stitched additional tea-dyed pages on top to make it a little book. So this is your storybook cottage. Again, the centerfold has the little tabs and really pretty DMC floss. A whole array of tags with bulb clips and beads and ribbons. And on this side, it's a beautiful vintage button that looks satiny. I hope you take some of the tags out and write keywords on them like creativity or hope and hang them in a window so they'll dance in the wind as reminders. Nothing in this journal has to remain in this journal. If you write on something and you don't like it, glue a piece of paper over it. There's enough paper included in here that you can do that. Or if you really hate a page, tear it out. It's your book. Put some vintage pages in here so you have your own little lined journal in the back here. More tags with lace, and here on several of the tags in each book I have done hand beading where the bead patterns repeat. This is green floral wrapping paper. You can wrap bouquets in. This image is divine. Going to give you a second to stare at this. We've got a carriage. Is it day? Is it night? I'm not sure. Colors are just so great. Clipped over an envelope, and some of these envelopes kind of have a Pagan feel to them. They're from a kit called Pagan in Me by PaperboundSoul. And all of these artists are on Etsy. Downloading the designs is really easy, and then I upload them to Print and Go, which is FedEx's office store. We've got a couple in town. Then I can go and print them at their self-serve islands. It's really pretty easily done. I bring my own paper and put it in the printer, and I print on heavy cardstock, sometimes on copy paper, ivory cardstock, onion paper. Little torn strips to add richness, and then the end of the book. If you're wondering what to put in a journal like this, one way that I started journaling was when I was severely depressed, and I needed to just start pushing the pen across a page. And I thought I'd number to 100 and write 100 of my favorite things. And I thought, oh my gosh, that's going to take forever. But 100 favorite things will make me feel better. So my favorite things, just as an example, include the smell of pencil shavings, that cedary smell. They include the fur behind a cat's ears, that's super soft. Favorite foods, favorite scents, favorite colognes, favorite people, favorite places. You get the idea. And then in 5 years, go back, number 100, and write it again. You'll be amazed at what has changed, what's moved up and down on your list. Write family recipes down. You're going to wish you had them at some point. Did your grandmother or does your mom make a killer fruit cake from the South? A pecan cake? Write that down. Secret cookie recipes. Does she double the vanilla? Write that down. Some of these things you're going to wish you had. Anyway, it's just a way to get started. So this will go on my Etsy shop shortly. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks.